Do you know how to install skirting around a curved wall? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that just in a few steps. First step is to get a measurement of the length of the skirting, and I want to get a measurement from that corner all the way to that corner there, and I want to put one full piece in so there's no joints. So the problem with using a tape measure is that it'll start to kink around the curve and you won't get an accurate measurement. So I prefer to use a steel ruler or something flexible that will bend around the curve, and you can mark measurements at certain distances and then add the total up. Then you can mark that onto the skirting and cut it to two. And then we need to mark out where it starts to curve, and you can do that by placing a straight edge against the wall, sliding it towards the curve, and when it starts to create a gap, that's where we know it starts to curve, and we can mark that onto the wall. You can always give it a little bit extra, and then transfer that mark onto the skirting. And then we can transfer that measurement where it starts to curve onto the skirting, and then we can kerf out the material. In other words, cutting slits onto the material which allows it to bend. Now the general rule would be to cut slots on the back of the material when bending it around an external corner, and then the face of the material when bending it around an internal corner. However, in this case, I'm going to cut slots out at the back, even though it is an internal corner, just so there's less filling on the face, and sometimes them lines do tend to show through the filler. And then you can cut slots out onto the material, and if you've got a chop saw it's very easy to do that, because with this one it has a trench setting so you can set the depth of the cut. And usually I do it so there's 3 to 4 millimeters left on the material and every 10 millimeters, so you can get a nice even curve. And also it's important to note to place some timber or sacrificial timber behind the material so you can get a consistent depth cut all the way. And there we have it, and that should bend around that wall pretty easily. So let's go see how that fits. So it's a moment of truth. Let's try this skirting in, see how it fits. Like a glove. Like they say in Yorkshire? Yeah, that'll do.